Morning everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and we are here with our second class in the series of assumptions and conclusions. Am I clearly visible and audible to everybody? Good evening. Can you hear and see me clearly, everyone? Am I audible and visible clearly? Hi Slesha. Hi Muskan. Am I clearly visible and audible? Yes, clearly visible and audible. I'm sure you guys had seen my first video on assumptions and conclusions, and I'm sure you've understood the whole concept that I've explained in the last class. This is a continuation of that. We'll do a quick revision of what we did in the first class yesterday, and we will today attempt more questions that we'll try to understand and use the logic that we understood yesterday. So before we start off with any of that, let me take you through a few things. If you're targeting CLAT 2023, we've got a new batch that we've launched, and I'll be teaching in that batch as well. I'll be teaching English there, although. And if you wish to sit for 2023 CLAT, that's going to be happening in December. Look no further. Enroll yourself for this program. If you're targeting MHCT, ALAT, SLAT, BLAT, JAMIA, these law entrance examinations, then because their course is a little different from CLAT, there's a separate batch that we've made for that. Batch 1 is already full, batch 2 is about to be full. Not be late. Get into this batch and start studying with us right away. If you're targeting CLAT 22, our first crash course is here for you. And this is the right time because you've got 3 months. You can still make the most out of that. Don't be late. Don't wait for your boards to end because 1 month technically may not be enough for you. So sooner you start, the better it is. Enroll right away. And if you don't wish to study every subject, but you wish to study only legal affairs and current events, then we've got a booster course where Nivedita ma'am and Abhimanyu sir will be teaching you legal affairs and current events. If these are the only 2 subjects you need to study, then this batch is for you. Come fast, enroll yourself, start your free trial right away. Now, that was about our programs. And before I show you anything else, I hope, yes. No, it's not live on app. It's only live on YouTube, Navya. So if you could quickly share my video and tell everybody that finally the session is live, it's going to be a great favor to me. Yes? All right. Hi, everyone. Okay, one more announcement that I need to make. Sunday, we've got our mega marathon happening on our app. So my session would be 10 to 12 in the morning. And with this mega marathon, we'll have hours and hours of question solving. If you wish to see where do you stand, how much do you know, come attend the marathon live with us Sunday on our app. Remember that all the subjects continuous for 5-6 hours. We're going to solve questions and practice. Okay. Okay, Nandini, I'm going to take them. I haven't taken a lot of classes, but I'm going to take them gradually. All right, guys. So let's quickly revise what we had done yesterday in 1 minute, and then we can jump on to our questions for the day. So what did we learn? We learned that assumptions are things that are accepted to be true or certain to happen. And who accepts these things to be true? Remember, the speaker does that. So when a speaker or the question maker or the argument giver gives you a statement, he assumes a few things. He considers them to be true, and he doesn't necessarily have to say that. Without stating that, he assumes them to be true. And that's when he gives you his argument, his question. His question would be dependent on the assumption that he has already made. And it's certain to happen. And that is why it will form the foundation of my question. The speaker or the author believes that to be true. Remember, because when we look at conclusions, the conclusions are made by the reader and the assumptions are made by the speaker. Okay? Ma'am, in Mega Marathon, what type of questions we'll get? All types of questions. Passages, synonyms, grammar, everything. Everything's going to be there. Okay? And then we learned the negation method. That's by far the best method that you can use to get your assumption questions correct. To understand more that what assumptions and conclusions are in depth, we drew this diagram. And this was a house that we built. And what did I teach you yesterday? My house will always first have my foundation. After that, I build my house. When my house is built, I am unable to look at the foundation, but that will hold my whole house. If the foundation is shaken, the whole house will collapse. That foundation will be your assumption, the base, hidden one, on which your whole premise and conclusion would stand. If a correct assumption is negated, your correct premise and conclusion will also stand negated. That is, if you shake a correct assumption, your premise and conclusion will also become shaken or baseless or foundationless or negated. That's the whole idea of identifying an assumption. What were conclusions? Conclusions were, on the contrary, made by the reader. So, you as a reader will have to find out conclusions. What are conclusions now? Now, conclusions are something that is certain to happen in every possible scenario. So, when I say the budget is out, can I conclude our country will be developing in the coming year? Is that a correct conclusion? Yes or no, my children? Will that be a correct conclusion? That the budget is out, and since the budget aims at development of my country is going to develop in the next year, next financial year. Correct conclusion? Yes or no? Yes or no? Absolutely not. Is it necessary, Teja? Is it necessary that the country will be developed or will be developing? No, it isn't a necessity. It's only a possibility. So, thus, a conclusion will be one that's correct in every possible scenario. Every possible scenario. Only then you would want that to be a correct conclusion. Okay? All right. Okay, cool, Manisha. What's your question about that? Shoot. It could be an assumption, Ashmita. Yes. So when you are confused, if it's an assumption or a conclusion, just see if it is to be made by the reader or if it has already been made by the speaker. If the speaker makes it, it's an assumption. If the reader has to draw it out, it's a conclusion. The reader will consider it to be absolutely true. And if that's absolutely true in reality, it's a valid conclusion. If it is absolutely true considered by the speaker, it's a valid assumption. Got my point, everyone? Got the difference? And got the technique of negation? So, can I show you the questions now, everyone? Let's start with the first question of the class. Okay? Read the questions carefully. Use the negation technique. If it's an assumption question, use the 100% certainty technique for confusion questions. Okay? So here we go with the first question of the class. What do you think should the answer be here? Let's see. You have to draw a conclusion here, okay? No, there are not going to be any comprehensive questions today. Okay, only one, none, either, full, either, none. Okay, that's an easy question though, because it's only a warm-up. There are many Indians who are honest. Okay, we could do it through syllogisms, we could do it through other techniques as well. For people who follow syllogisms, many Indians who are honest. Many Indians who are honest. Okay, so Mohan is an Indian. Mohan could be here, Mohan could be here. If Mohan is here, is he honest? No. Wrong conclusion. Many Indians are honest. How can you be sure of the fact that Mohan is honest? Do I say all Indians are honest? I don't. So Mohan is not honest. आप ये भी नहीं बोल सकते because if Mohan is here, I can't say he's not honest. So my answer can either be either of these two follow, or my answer could be none of them follows. Depends upon the options you have. Either is supposed to be chosen when both the statements are contradictory to each other. Is and is not are contradictory to each other. Thus, since they are contradictory, they can be either of them. If either is not the option, you say none of them follow. Okay? Yes, Ravinder, please tell me. Please tell me what's your question. Okay? By the time Ravinder tells me his question, let me give you a longer one. Read the question very carefully and find out the assumption. There you go. All right. Careful, be careful. Ravinder, can I answer this question by the end of the class? That says B, okay. Ayushi says C. B, C. Right? B. All right. I see some people who are here today, but they weren't there yesterday. I would highly recommend after this class ends, go back and watch my yesterday's video where I had explained the concept of assumptions and conclusions. Because some of you certainly are getting the answers wrong here. Okay? Now let's understand how do we address this question. Question says the National Bookshop does not care about his. And how was this conclusion drawn? Conclusion was drawn by his experience that he was looking for a cookery book there last week, and it took him 10 minutes to get the attention of a salesperson. So for good 10 minutes, no salesperson attended him, and thus he draws a conclusion that this bookshop does not care about his customers. Can I say his experience of waiting for 10 minutes leads him to draw this conclusion? Yes, that's how he says they don't care about its customers. Now, what are we supposed to do in the question? We have to identify the assumption on which this conclusion by the customer is based on. The line that the conclusion is this line that National Bookshop does not care about its customers. What assumption would this be based on? Who is going to make the assumption? The customer who says this is going to make an assumption. And after he makes an assumption, he is going to make this statement that National Bookshop does not care about its customers. Option number 1. Customers who shop for cookery books do not like to wait. Is my statement only about cookery books? And he able to or not able to find cookery books that depressed him, or he waiting for 10 minutes that depressed him, which led him to draw this conclusion? It's not only about cookery books. It was about his wait that depressed him. A is a wrong assumption. Some shops are careless about their customers. Is the question about some shops, or is the question about national bookshops? Let's use the negation technique. If some shops are not careless about their customers, can he still give you this conclusion that National Bookshop does not care about its customers? Yes, he can. That means my conclusion is not dependent on this assumption. I can, without this assumption, still give you this conclusion. A lot of people marked C and D. Now let's clarify if the answer is going to be C or D. Okay, so D says the National Bookshop is a bad place to buy books. क्या ये आप conclude कर रहे हो? अगर National Bookshop is not a bad place to buy books, Can I still give you this statement? Yes or no? I can still give you the statement. Yes? That means my conclusion is not dependent on the fact that it's a bad place. It could be a good place. My argument is only that the shop does not care about its customers. Maybe it's an excellent place. Maybe it has a lot of books. Their customer service is poor. That means 10 minutes is a too long wait for a salesperson in a bookshop. And that is exactly why he was depressed. And that's the reason why he gave you this argument, this conclusion that they don't care about its customers. The answer here is C. Yes. Okay? Yes. All right. Exactly, Preeti. D is more like an opinion. That do not even back it with proper reasoning. Let's look at the next question, everybody. Here you go. Very good, Saki. Let's look at the next question, everyone. Careful. Nandini, you just need to be more careful. Did you work yesterday after my class? Everyone says both. Both. Saki says only two. Okay, let's understand the question. If water pollution continues at its present rate, it will eventually make oxygen molecules unavailable to the water plants. Now, what happens if the just a minute. Okay, so let me tell you something. 90% of you are wrong. 90% of you are wrong. I'll tell you why. If water pollution continues at its present rate, pollution बढ़ रहा है, उससे क्या impact होगा? Oxygen molecules नहीं मिलेंगे plants को. अब वो plants की growth को affect करेगा. तुमने क्या जीके लगाया यहाँ? Yes or no? ये बता दो मुझे. Growth कहाँ लिखा है question में? क्या आप external knowledge use कर रहे हो इस reasoning के question में? Where does it say that the growth will be affected? Let's use the negation technique. If the growth is not affected, can still oxygen molecules be made unavailable to the water plants? Yes, of course it can be. My question is not dependent on this. A is wrong. A is incorrect, my children. A is wrong. You used your GK. That CO2 is necessary for the plants to grow, and since there will be no CO2 or maybe no oxygen, they are not going to grow. Don't use your GK, my children. It's a reasoning question. My question does not talk about the growth of the plants. Okay? Second one, water pollution reduces the availability of oxygen. Exactly. That's what the question states. That if water pollution increases, oxygen molecules will be unavailable. What is the relationship? Pollution reducing the availability of oxygen molecules. That is exactly what option 2 says. My answer would be only and only 2. What is the relationship between pollution and oxygen molecules in the question? It's a simple question of logical consistency if you know what that is. If this happens, then this will happen. That means it's a direct relationship between this cause and this effect. If cause happens, the effect will certainly happen. The cause is water pollution. The effect is availability of oxygen or oxygen molecules in water. Not at all, Shruti. Not at all, my child. Sahil, what's your question? What do I reply to? मैम सीआर में से ज्यादा किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं? पैसेज बेस्ड. Okay, let's look at the next question, everyone. Let's do this. That's very good, Nikita. Let's do this question. It's an easier one. Nandini, you just need to practice more than it. That's the key. Your confidence grows with practice. So this question looks more like a course of action question. And course of action is a kind of question that you very frequently see in ALET and some other law entrance examinations as well. Okay, now if I address it with the course of action reasoning, the answer here is going to be both are going to be correct. Okay, economize here means use it in an efficient manner and not be wasteful. So if the water supply will be affected by 50% on Friday because of the repairing work, what are people supposed to do? They are supposed to economize water on Friday, use it efficiently and not be wasteful because the supply is going to be less. And the residents in these wards should store some water on the previous day, because obviously the supply is going to be lesser, so there should be a backup. Now this question technically is not a conclusion question, it's a course of action question. And if such a course of action question appears, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to do these two? Yes, we are supposed to. Thus, both. Okay? Ali, got that, my child? Let's look at the next question. Tricky. Please be very careful, my children. Please be very careful with this. Let's see if you can crack it. Teacher says two. Both. Two. None. Okay. Varied answers. Only one. सारे options आ गए answers में. Oh, let's understand the question. So the question says that Chargora Cycles gave an ad. Okay. And for people who were there in my yesterday's class, they would know I had discussed the assumptions behind advertisements in detail. Okay. Statement says Chargora Cycles says these cycles are fast, easy to ride, impressive, reliable, well crafted, and up to date. Okay. And this is an advertisement. We are supposed to find the assumption. In the assumption, we always find the assumption of the speaker. Who is the speaker here? The ad maker. When a person gives an ad, he always believes into the fact that my ad is going to be doing the job, it's going to be promoting me, it's going to increase my sales. And that's exactly and why an ad is given. Yes, if he knows that his ad will not work, why will he waste his money on the ad? He'll do some other means of promotion. If he says, if I say, okay, this is the product that I have, buy this, and I'm giving you a 30% off, that means I assume that people are going to be lured with the 30% off. Yes, if I know people don't pay heed to 30% off, why would I give them 30% off? So when I say Char Ghoda cycles is fast. My assumption is people want fast cycles, and that's why I'm using this word in the ad. That cycles that are easy to write. People want easy to write cycles. People want impressive cycles. People want reliable cycles. People want well crafted ones. And people want up to date automation in cycles. And that's exactly why I would give this ad. Use the negation technique. If people do not desire fast cycles, I would not mention this word in my advertisement. Negation technique, my children, absolutely works here. He assumes that fast cycles are desired in the market. And so is the case with easy to write, impressive, reliable, and everything else that he says. That's a desirable thing in the market. Every word written in the ad will be dependent on the desirability of it in the market. Okay? So then there are so many things that are advertised. There are illegal things that are advertised in the newspaper because there's a desirability for that. So everything that is advertised, every product that's advertised, every pitch point that they make will be desirable. And that's exactly why they would pitch on that. Otherwise, they would not. Okay? Swarnavo, since you've joined late, I would expect you to watch this recorded video after the class ends or yesterday's video where I've in detail explained the negation technique. What about the first one? There is no other cycle with any of these features. मैं आपको रीजनिंग पढ़ा रही हूँ, मुझसे रीजनिंग पढ़ो, मुझसे अच्छा कोई रीजनिंग नहीं पढ़ा सकता, ये मेरा क्लेम है. Does that mean कोई और रीजनिंग नहीं पढ़ा रहा? हो सकता है thousands of लोग और पढ़ा रहे हो, बट मैं अपने आप को प्रमोट कर रही हूँ. Char Ghoda is promoting itself. Does not mean there is no other cycle giving this feature. Maybe there are thousands of more, but they are promoting themselves with these features. First is going to be a wrong assumption. The answer is only and only two. Yes, please tell me. King tell. Okay? Yes, Mohit, negation technique worked here absolutely 100%. So everyone who does not get the negation technique, please watch my yesterday's video recorded. I've explained that in detail in that class. Got this one, everyone? Any doubts with the first argument, first assumption? I can't say if there's any other cycle or not. Maybe there are thousands of them. I promote myself. Cool? Let's look at the next question, everyone. Here you go. वो भी गलत होता. Ayushi, it would still be wrong, my child. The king devil, your statement has a grammatical error, my child. Final answer, only two for the previous question. Both? A? None. Ali is very confident of A. Manisha, I would. Let's understand the question. So it says, one research study reveals that children's personality cannot be understood without detailed study about their home environment. That means home environment is a necessity to understand a child's personality. I have to draw a conclusion here. Anything out of these two, that's 100% true. If the question is true, will be a valid conclusion. The question says you cannot understand a child's personality if you don't study their home environment. That means your home environment easily influences your personality as a child. Yes, that automatically means parents' role. is equally important for the betterment of a child. Betterment, that means your personality. This is a correct conclusion. The second one, schools are ignoring the importance of home atmosphere. When I give you a suggestion that study home environment, does that mean that you aren't doing that? When I say please practice critical reasoning, does that mean you're not practicing critical reasoning and that's why I've given you the suggestion? No, not at all. Maybe you're doing that. You aren't doing that enough. You need to do it more. So when a suggestion is given, it does not mean they're ignoring it. You're not doing it. Maybe they are giving importance to home atmosphere. They need to give more importance to that. Agreed, everyone? Yes? The answer is only A. Yes, exactly. Also, guys, I'll give you another question that's not there in the slide, but it suddenly came to my mind. Okay, look at the question, understand the question clearly, and then answer the question. Okay, it's not there in the slide. So when I say India, I'll narrate the question. Okay, so the question is that India needs time-saving machines. Okay, India needs time-saving machines because we waste a lot of time on manual labor. Does that mean there are no time-saving machines in my country? Yes or no? I'll repeat. India needs time-saving machines because we spend a lot of time on manual labor. Does that mean India does not have time-saving machines? Yes or no? Very good, my children. No, it cannot be. हो सकता है हो, but less हो. हमें और की जरूरत हो. Excellent. You guys are on the right track. Very good. It's a wrong assumption. Okay. Let's go to the next question of the class. Nobody takes it personally. Let's see who gets it. I don't know that, Nitish. Yes, Ali, that would have been correct then. It says A. A. Everyone says A. Shabash. मेरी नाक कटवाओगे तुम लोग सब. it's it's none. It's none. I'm so proud of you, Ali, Sakhi, Tanu, Navya, Slesha, Moji. It's none. It's neither. Let's understand how. Preference over whom? Generals? जनरल को नहीं लेके एसटीज और एसटीज को लो, ये बोल रहा है क्वेश्चन. या ये बोल रहा है कि इनको भी लेना जरूरी है along with others. इनको प्रेफर करने का मतलब क्या हुआ? प्रेफर आप एक के ऊपर दूसरे को प्रेफर करोगे, राइट? तो इस स्टेटमेंट का मतलब हुआ कि एससीज और एसटीज को प्रेफर किया जाए ओवर जनरल्स, ओवर बाकी लोग. बट क्वेश्चन तो ये नहीं बोल रहा. क्वेश्चन कह रहा है कि एससीज और एसटीज पे भी ध्यान देना जरूरी है. उनको बैड बिहेवियर नहीं दिखाना चाहिए, असॉल्ट नहीं करना चाहिए, उनको वापस नहीं भेजना चाहिए, वो आपके लिए, उनके लिए, सबके लिए डेट्रीमेंटल होगा, तो उनपे भी ध्यान दो। प्रेफरेंस वर्ड इसको गलत कर देता है। बच्चों प्लीज डू नॉट फॉल फॉर सच अ ट्रिक। Equality should be given. Yes, Saki. Yes, exactly. They should be treated at par. They should not be neglected, but they should not be given preference is the wrong one. और B तो बिल्कुल ही उल्टा हो गया क्वेश्चन का. What kind of statement is that? इनको भी लेना जरूरी है. That's the idea. Uncivilized people who are uncivilized. Who are uncivilized? तो ये बहुत बड़ा assumption है जो लोग बना रहे हो आप लोग. There's nothing said about uncivilized in the whole question. So uncivilized is a random word, crappy word that's unnecessary here. Got my point? You can't say anything about uncivilized one. And if exactly the opposite of the question, it's not going to be true. Wrong conclusion. The answer is going to be neither. Neither of them is wrong. So of them is right. Now that is all about today's class. Tomorrow again I'll come up with another set of questions at 8 p.m. on assumptions and conclusions. Make sure you practice. If you did not understand the negation technique, go watch my yesterday's video again. I'm sure you're going to be a master at that. I can see you guys are improving. You just need to work a little harder, more practice, and that's how you master it. Again, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Hindu editorial class. Don't miss out on that. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a very good night. And God bless all of you. Bye, everyone.